everyone, welcome to my channel. I'm Alexa. Today I'm making chocolate chip cookies. They're thick, chocolatey, and soft. I've measured out all my ingredients and I recommend that you do so too. You can find a list of ingredients and measurements in the link in the description. Remember to watch the video first so you can be prepared. First, I'm going to sift my flour, baking soda, and cornstarch. That is to make sure that there are no clumps. If you don't have a sifter, you can use a wire whisk or a fork. When you are sifting, you can use a rubber spatula or just tap the sides of the sifter to cause the ingredients to fall through, but I prefer using a spoon. After all the ingredients fall through, tap the sides of the sifter to make sure no ingredients are stuck to the bottom stand of the sifter, if your sifter has one. Next, I'm going to put my butter, granulated sugar, brown sugar, and egg into the mixer. I'm going to scramble my egg real quick with a fork so it will blend better with my batter. Normally, when making cookies, I will cream my butter first, but because the butter is cold in this recipe, that would change the consistency of the cookie. I'm going to mix these ingredients until they are just combined so the cookie doesn't get too tough. However, make sure that all the ingredients are mixed together and there are no clumps of butter or something else that isn't incorporated. I'm going to put my mixer on a little higher to speed up the process. Now, the ingredients look just about combined, but I'm going to make sure that they are by scraping down my bowl with a rubber spatula. This will help make sure no ingredients are stuck to the bottom of the bowl and that everything is getting mixed in evenly. Make sure your spatula has as little batter on it as possible or it could create clumps later on. At this step, I noticed that some pieces of butter were still not mixed into my batter, so I'm going to put my mixer on a little longer. It's looking great, so I'm going to add my dry ingredients to the mixer. Make sure that all the ingredients are going into the mixing bowl, otherwise you might be missing some baking soda or cornstarch that's necessary for the cookies to work properly. I'm going to scrape my bowl a little to make sure I'm not missing any of the ingredients. Now I can restart my mixer. I'm going to start it on the lowest setting so the dry ingredients don't fly out of the mixer. Once they start to look incorporated, you can speed up the mixer. As you can see, some of the flour mixture has gone up the sides of my bowl, so I'm going to scrape it down again. Even though the most obvious thing to scrape down is the sides of the bowl, make sure to also scrape off the mixer blade and bottom of the bowl because there might be some ingredients that haven't been mixed in. Now, I'm going to start my mixer back up. Everything looks like it's mixing in nicely, but I noticed that there is some butter that's still stuck to the bottom. That means it's time for me to scrape down my bowl again. I'm going to use the second rubber spatula to scrape the batter off the first spatula. Sorry about my dogs barking in the background. Next, I'm going to restart my mixer. I'm going to mix it just a little bit longer because it looks just about done. It looks looks great, so now I'm going to add in my chocolate chips. I'm going to mix them until the chocolate looks evenly spread out. Now, I'm going to scoop my cookies onto the baking sheet. I like to use an ice cream scoop, but you can also use a measuring cup. I used 1/3 of a cup. What I like about using an ice cream scoop is that when you press the cookies out, you don't need to roll them out afterwards, and they come out of the ice cream scoop without much effort. Make sure to pack the batter fully into your measuring cup or ice cream scoop so all the cookies are the same size. You can use a spatula to press the batter into the scoop, but you can also use your hands. When using a measuring cup, it's the same process as when using an ice cream scoop, but you need to use a spatula to get the batter out of the measuring cup and roll it into a ball with your hands. The cookies spread, so I put them 6 inches apart lengthwise and 4 inches apart widthwise. Now, I'm going to bake my cookies. My oven's preheated to 475 degrees Fahrenheit. My cookies took 6 minutes to cook. I recommend setting a timer at 6 minutes, and if they aren't done, then set a timer for a few more minutes. They should be golden brown on top. Put them on a cooling rack so they can cool. Our cookies are done and looking delicious. Please let me know what you thought of the video in the comments and how the recipe went for you. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you can see when new videos are added. Thank you and enjoy!